in time several flights were operated, and in fact were being operated from Lahore and from different other cities where they have the crucial air defense radars and structures. And at this point in time, what we have been told is that army jawans are also injured, which is for the first time that has come to light, because till now we were under an impression that it was nowhere they have hit our targets. But yes, their artillery came in fact to our territory. Not only it has hit our armed forces, I mean the personnel, but civilians have also got injured, and possibly this is the artillery fire that Colonel Sophia Qureshi was talking about, that our army jawans are injured. We have been discussing about air defense, and we are talking about the air defense of Indian Army and Indian Air Force. And on that note, I'll try to show you the visuals. Shivani, I'm at Jammu Airport, and this is the place from where this all got initiated yesterday. At around 8 p.m., this is the place. Rajesh ji will show you. This is the airport. At 8 p.m. yesterday, we saw that, several drones were sent to the airport. And soon after that, the armed forces, specifically the Indian Air Force, that is basically, taking care of the security of this particular, Air Force, particular airport at this point in time, came into action. In fact, CRPF and, Jammu Kashmir Police and Indian Army are also there, and they reacted. AD guns were there. They started firing using AD guns and thwarted all those attempts. So, all of, when we talk about these 24 cities which were targeted, different military infrastructure and the locations. So, none of these attacks were successful. But yes, their targets were predefined, and they knew that where we have our military installation. Of course, it's an age where everything is available on the internet. But then too, at this point in time, agencies are anticipating that they will come back because of the fact that, maximum drones were without explosives, and possibly they were trying to check our capabilities. Indian Armed Forces are ready, and their operational readiness is at all-time high. Shivani.
Yes, absolutely. Not just that, not just the Indian Army or the operational readiness at the LOC or the IB, even inside the country, as far as internal preparedness is concerned, that is also at an all-time high, possibly for the first time since 1971. We will get you those details also in just a bit, but Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow ORF, is also joining me. Sushant, laughable, farcical, duplicity, and all of those words used by the Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri to describe Pakistan's attempt at denying that they attempted anything.
Yeah, Shivani, they're quite shameless about it, and they've done it throughout their existence. This is a standard operating procedure on the Pakistani side. This is how they operate. So there's nothing new in that, I think. It was quite visible what they were trying to do last night. And for them to, at that point of time, deny that we are not doing anything across the border was possible. And the night before also, they had tried it all along the length and breadth of the border, and still they denied it the next day that we haven't done anything. One thing which is not clear, Shivani, I wish your correspondent, if he's still online, can address that. From what I heard in the press conference, it isn't quite clear whether the casualties of the soldiers was in the shelling or it was in the drone attacks that have taken place.
From what?
Number one.
Yes, go ahead. I'll try and get Akash back, but go ahead.
Yeah, and Akash says that people were injured, soldiers were injured. But from what the word I heard was hatahat, which means killed. So I wonder if there's some clarification.
Okay, so wait a second. Let me just bring Akash. He's with me. Akash, can you clarify on that front? I believe you had talked about injuries as far as the Indian Army and the BSF is concerned. Do we know more? Are there any fatalities?
So I was talking about injuries only, and these injuries are because of the artillery fire that we have at the LOC and in fact, at the international border yesterday. Because as far as these drone attacks are concerned, so we have been given to understand that none of these was successful. Yes, Colonel Sophia was mentioning about, Bhatinda military station, but even in the press conference was not made very clear whether we had any sort of injury there at Bhatinda military station, Shivani.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Akash. Sushant, So you got your clarification there. No casualties on the Indian Army or BSF front, but yes, there are injuries at least across the LOC. We've seen the kind of heavy artillery that Pakistan has been using, not just yesterday, but for a couple of days now, in response to Operation Sindoor. Major Malik Jolly, defense expert, is also joining us. Major, how do you look at the fact that India is not revealing too much officially about what our response was?
So it is a very strong move. That is, I mean, given the overall strategy of how you conduct a war, that is how you do it. The thing is, Pakistan has a little habit of, chest thumping. They get a little gorilla-ish once these things start, and they start to announce everything we have done. Even if 10% of that is true, but they go ahead and start declaring everywhere, start making false claims. That is their, that is the backbone of their propaganda to keep everybody confident. Whereas they also know on ground they are suffering badly. India, on the other hand, acts a little mature in that manner that there is no point revealing armed forces when they get into conflict. Secrecies and surprise, those are one of the biggest assets that we have. If we start disclosing and start getting into that chest thumping, unnecessary jingoistic manner, we'll get into a very immature stance. So it is good that these press conferences are very mature. They are very professional. They are there to give sense to the citizens of the nation that this is the overall of what has happened. Rest everything is under control. What you should know is we have situation under control. Majority of drones were shot down. There have been hardly any injuries as Pakistan had expected. And I think that is how it should be done. We need not get into the mechanics and the semantics of basics at who is firing where, what is doing that. That is how a mature, authoritative armed force acts, actually.
Right.
So, job well done, actually.
MJ Vinod is also joining us, Group Captain MJ Vinod. How do you look at the fact that India came out with not a lot of details otherwise from what was already in public domain, but they did make one detail very clear, that a lot of these drones that Pakistan used were Turkish made. Significant, you think?
And absolutely. In fact, yesterday, I think, in the morning with the other three panelists of yours, that is Rahul, Anand, and Zaka, we, on your very channel, showed cargo aeroplane coming from Turkey to Karachi and the other areas, where I had raised this concern. I'm sure a lot of imported drones were flown in directly from Turkey. Be that as it may, I am slightly trying to read in between the lines of what being shown on the screen, which is about this Flynas aeroplane coming from Dammam to Lahore. Why they have specifically shown this or any other civilian movement during the hotspot condition could be that this Flynas came very close to being taken out, is my understanding. And it is imperative that, companies like Flynas or any other foreign operators fly into this hot zone when air war is going on. At that time, you can become the collateral damage is the information that is being put out to the world. So I think the air carriers will take a note of it and not fly into a hot war condition where you could be, or highly possible, you may be misidentified, not only by us, maybe by Pakistan themselves, and they'll shoot them down and blame it on us. But Shivani, about this briefing, Manik and I are good friends, but I have a slight bit of disagreement in this. I'm not saying don't chest thump, but I am saying that you reveal more than what you did to the world as well, and to the public of India, because they want to listen to things that we have done and done successfully. For example, we completely decimated the air defense of Lahore, completely decimated the air defense of Sialkot. That should have been brought out loud and clear. Today, with no air defense cover, and with on Sialkot or Lahore, and our forces absolutely ready. Boots on ground is something that is a very high possibility. We are restraining from doing it. I don't know why. I think, I've been saying this for a while. Outskirts of Lahore is where we should be to get Munir on the table.
Okay.
Be that as it may, we should say that we have that option available on the table to put some fear of God into this man called Munir and his country called Pakistan.
No, I get your point. I'm going to come back to all of you in just a bit. We're also awaiting one of our other guests to join us. What is it that India is doing, can do? Why is it that it's not revealing much of its strategy? All of that will be debated in just a bit. But remember, India has come out strongly, not just naming and shaming Pakistan for its escalatory action along the entire western border last night, but it has also called farcical their attempts to wash their hands off it. Pakistan actually tried to deny any drone and missile attack on their part. Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said that it's preposterous and desperate from Pakistan to allege that India targeted its own cities. It is a deranged fantasy that only Pakistan can come up with, is how he summed it up. Remember, Pakistan fired up to 500 drones and missiles, but Indian forces not only thwarted all of them, have also showed great restraint in its conduct, is also what this briefing said. It focused on restraint in its conduct. Across the LOC, Pakistan also targeted civilian areas with heavy artillery and even damaged a Gurdwara and Christian convent school. Let me also break down some of the other top developments that we're tracking as far as this entire escalation is concerned. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh earlier today chaired a high-level meeting to review the security situation along the border and operational preparedness of the Indian Armed Forces with CDS and the three armed services chief. Home Minister Amit Shah met DG BSF, DG CISF and MHA officials and other senior officials of the ministry to review border situation and airport security arrangements. Union Health Minister JP Nadda chaired a high-level meeting to review emergency health systems preparedness with senior officials. External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar spoke to UK Foreign Secretary today. The discussion centered around countering terrorism, and he told his counterpart that there must be zero tolerance. Pakistan continues to breach ceasefire. 2 more civilians have been killed in this firing. Jammu and Kashmir LG Manoj Sinha visited Uri in fact earlier and met the injured. On another note, BCCI has suspended the IPL for 1 week with immediate effect. They say nothing above the country right now. Pakistan launched as many as 400 drones to target 36 locations. Pakistan used Turkish drones to attack and used civil airlines as shield, as mentioned just now. Border Security Force foiled a major infiltration attempt along the international border in Jammu and Kashmir's Samba, killing 7 terrorists affiliated with the Jaish-e-Mohammed. Pakistan Defence Minister made a laughable comment earlier today saying Pakistan did not shoot down Indian drones fired in retaliation because they didn't want to reveal their own locations. And India is set to present its case before the International Monetary Fund, urging the body to review the financial aid extended to Pakistan. Pakistan attempted to escalate these tensions by targeting as many as 36 locations, but all of those attempts were negated. Let's take a quick check of where all of these actions were taken. All of them neutralized. There's Jammu, Srinagar, Rajouri, Uri, Avantipura, Udhampur, Satwar, Pathankot, Jalandhar. On the other side, there's also Arispura, Arnia and Akhnur, until as far back down low as Jaisalmer. This attempt was done, but of course the big news is that not any of them, of the 500 so drones and missiles fired by Pakistan, managed to inflict any damage on the Indian side. Now the conflict between India and Pakistan is only escalating, but what makes this conflict different? Let's try and break this down. Now both nations are heavily utilizing sophisticated drone systems. This isn't the war of the old times. Reports of 125 jets clash is one of the largest dogfights recorded in recent history. Reports indicate massive use of electronic warfare, including GPS jamming, disrupting of navigation and communication systems. All of this is different from what earlier wars looked like, certainly the ones that India was part of. A significant escalation is technological warfare. Both nations are reportedly engaging in cyber attacks, targeting critical infrastructure as well. Unprecedented use of water as a strategic weapon by India via the Indus Water Treaty this time. Parallel information war that is being fought on social media as well. And we saw a lot of that last night, for example, when all of this was going on. What is also going on simultaneously is a lot of public and civil prep. I want to emphasize on that because it's going to come to civilians to stand up and be counted if the time comes. Particularly on the medical front, lots of preparations being done. Leaves of health workers across all states and UTs have been cancelled. Drug makers and hospitals have been told to prepare for medical emergencies. AIIMS in Delhi has said that they have held a mass casualty management mock drill a few days ago. Home Ministry has also asked for stricter measures for airport security. It was clear last night that airports were a major point of attack for Pakistan. And MHA has also asked all state chief secretaries to make emergency procurements under available rules, which means India does not want to leave any stone unturned as far as this fight and preparedness for it is concerned. With that, we also ask the question that we're asking today. With Pakistan's repeated strikes, is it really fighting a losing battle? And if so, why is it doing so?
पाकिस्तानी सेना ने नियंत्रण रेखा पर भारी कैलिबर वाले हथियारों से गोलीबारी भी की। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमा और नियंत्रण रेखा पर लेह से लेकर सरक्रीक तक 36 स्थानों पर 300 से 400 लगभग ड्रोनों का इस्तेमाल घुसपैठ का प्रयास करने के लिए किया गया। भारतीय सशस्त्र बलों ने काइनेटिक व नॉन काइनेटिक साधनों का उपयोग करके इनमें से कई ड्रोन्स को मार गिराया।
Pakistan made the preposterous and outrageous claim that it was the Indian Armed Forces and the Indian Air Force that was targeting cities like Amritsar and trying to put the blame on Pakistan. This is nothing but a desperate attempt by Pakistan to disown its acts of aggression, but it is also true to type in its effort to deceive and mislead the world. It will not succeed.
Pakistan will not succeed. That's the message really written loud and clear for it. The writing's on the wall, but somehow Pakistan is not getting that message. Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma, former Adjutant General and former GOC 14 Corps of the Indian Army, is also joining us. The rest of our guests also continue to be with us. Why is Pakistan going down this road? Lieutenant General, that's my first question. What do you think is going on?
Thank you for inviting me. Unfortunately, I can't see the screen. So I do not know what visuals you are showing, so I am without that.
Okay, we'll try and fix that for you, sir. Yes, go ahead.
Naturally, what Pakistan has tried out in yesterday night, it's important to know that they have gone right up to Leh, which is not easy. To go to Leh, one has to go from Baltistan, maybe taking off from Skardu, which is a very long distance off. So the effort required to go from Leh to Leh is immense, and Sir Creek is also not an easy phenomena. So I would say that they have engaged the entire border since they found out that day for yesterday that the airfields which they tried day for yesterday, 15 of them were not approachable for various reasons because of the umbrella of air defense around the airfields. When you start counting Avantipura to Bhuj, they were only trying the airfields day for yesterday night. Yesterday night, they went beyond the airfields because the success rate was poor. They spread across to military cantonments. And when you go to the military cantonments and other places, the kind of AD cover which is available at an airfield is not available. For example, at places like Leh or places like Udhampur and all that, the S-400s are actually scanty. Even the other ones, Akash Tir or Spider and all, are not available. Most of the other locations will have AK guns, which are the Zeus or L-70s being fired. So there is the possibility of targeting military locations other than the airfields is tremendously more than there is a possibility of hitting the airfields, because airfields are protected in any way. So it is obvious that they tried these 300-400 drones across into these cantonments like Bathinda. The Bisiana is a little far away, but Bathinda is one of these places, and many others. I think their lack of success, and I'm not very sure if all 400, if they were trying, all 400 were down by us, or some of them got through, because it's actually well nigh impossible to hold on to all 400 Even the Israelis are not able to do so. So exact information, there's still fog of war. Exact information is not coming across as to what
Okay.
when you
Can
see
I
some.
just come in, sir? Can I just come in? You know, we're also learning that most of them were dummies. Uh,
But decoy
yeah.
drones is part and parcel of the game that we play. When we throw drones, a swarm of drones, there are a large number of decoys that are sent, so that there is ammunition being wasted, including missiles if they're using it to down decoy drones, and that kind of ammunition get wasted. So sending decoy drones is part and parcel of the military operation being carried out. How many decoys, this is all part of it. So I don't think you could carry this issue further in discussion as to why decoys were used and why decoys were not used. This is part of the game. There is also one issue I wish to raise, is that how much of information can the adversary, and I'm sure the group captain can answer it better, how much of information can the adversary glean out of a drone attack being sent by us? Can he pick up the frequencies, the channel, the direction from where it is coming, where it is being launched? So all that information, if it gleans out of our attacks, it becomes easier for him for next night to know, okay, the attacks are coming
Okay.
up, and that's the reason why we are not actually disclosing. The social media says we went to Atok, or we went to many other places which Pakistani social media is showing. But all this is not being told, because once you say, you make a commitment officially that we attacked a particular place, you can say which side it is coming from, which frequency it uses, how can it be downed. So the keeping quiet is a good idea. And I'll add a last issue.
Yes.
While we have spoken that Lahore was hit, and that S300s or whatever they called HQ9, which was destroyed, and also Sialkot. But suffice it to say, any good nation would have reserves available, or have the capacity to sidestep some of these ones from less threatened airfields across to these areas. So when we go to Lahore again or Sialkot again, we must not deem it that it is vacant and we can try it out there. Because by now, important places like Lahore would not be left as a void, and it will be filled in. So, this is part of the game's effect. And I end by saying that we didn't hear about the famous Turkish drone, which was used in Ukrainian war. See, after 2 months of Ukrainian war, the Turkish drones became defunct. They were non-useful, because the Russians were able to find the measure to drop these Turkish drones. So Turkish drones were not used after, say, May, June of the starting of the war.
Okay.
So how do we react to Turkish drones is also an issue that we need to be saying
Can
in
I
future.
take your query to Group Captain Vinod, who's with us? It's interesting that Lieutenant General mentioned this, because earlier we had a comment from Khwaja Asif also that we didn't stop their drones till they were too close to us, so that we don't give out our locations. I did speak to experts earlier in the afternoon as well, and they said there is no such technical issue here. So do you want to clarify on that front, and also what Lieutenant General was saying, that our capabilities or locations also being scouted by them with these attacks that they tried to attempt last night? No damage really? Was it more a scouting mission?
Shivani, a couple of things. The briefing also mentioned a drone called Asisgat Songer drone from Turkey, and that is the one which I put behind me. Like General covered, this particular drone uses open frequency like 2.4 gigahertz and 5.8 gigahertz, which of course uses the frequency hopping technique, but it is easily A, jammable, B, we can bring them down using soft kill, and which was also mentioned. Colonel Qureshi mentioned that, if you remember. So if you put high power jammers, for the sake of viewers, I'm saying this. When you put high power jammers, and when 10 or 20 or 15 or 30 or 100 drones of these come, they lose contact with the controller. And so there are some drones which requires the back and forth communication for it to operate. Songer is one of them. The drones that we send, Harop or any other advanced drones which is going into Pakistan, are electronically silent. You cannot jam them, because they have onboard intelligence. For example, Harop was launched. It's called a loitering munition, and rightfully a loitering munition. It goes without a target. Can you believe it? It does not have a target. It goes without a target, and whenever the target pops up, it checks with its library and goes and hits. So there is difference in the way we conduct drone warfare currently. Whether we'll go down this route or not, I really don't know. But currently, our drone warfare is different from the drone warfare that they are doing. We also intercepted some Mavic, DJI Mavic off-the-shelf drones also being launched by them using some makeshift hook in which they put some Pow Giloka bomb. So these are things I thought in this press briefing we could have exposed, because we have captured them, and it is officially being shown on the social media and otherwise. So
Okay.
I'm not saying just thumping, but I'm saying
So
feel
no,
good
once
factor
again,
would have been good.
Group Captain Vinod, just to simplify this for the layperson, I think what Lieutenant General said is a key question to ask. What did Pakistan achieve by throwing so many drones at us when not one of them has even exploded? Some of them have fell and not exploded. There's also visuals of a Chinese missile which didn't explode and has been found in full one piece. Again, his question was, did we give up anything, give away anything in retaliation to these drones?
Counter question is, do we do what Khwaja Asif said, that we don't retaliate at all? That is a counter question. We
Okay.
have to, because we don't know what they're carrying. So retaliation out of the question. We had to retaliate. But the best part is, what did not come out in the press briefing very loud and clear, but it did, is that the non-kinetic means had much larger effect in bringing them down than the kinetic means, because kinetic means are very, very limited. The zoo guns that General talked about and other guns that the General talked about are very limited and does not have the capability to bring down so many together. So the non-kinetic means effort has been good. Did they glean something out of the non-kinetic means? They may have through the operators or other people in our soil. Otherwise, there is no way you can make out how the non-kinetic means functioned.
Okay.
But the data of non-kinetic means, whether it is with them or not, I think by now it will be with them. And in any professional army, they would have something called an ELINT or electronic intelligence by now. They would have the details.
Okay.
That is a given. You cannot, put a boxing gloves and put the gloves in your pocket and fight. When the gloves come out, you will know what the gloves is made of. Over to you, Shivani.
Yes, absolutely. All right. I also want to bring in Ashok Malik, a partner of the Asia Group and chair of the India practice, who's also joining us. You know, we're trying to understand exactly where this goes. Why is Pakistan down this road? This is a losing battle for it, but why is it on this path? But first, I want an overview from you. Just who are those countries who can impress upon Pakistan? Some statements have been made in this regard, but who are those countries that can impress upon Pakistan effectively to not go down that path, not escalate with India?
Powers that could influence Islamabad, in our opinion, not to escalate, because it is entirely in their interest to escalate. If they escalate, we will be forced to escalate.
Yes.
I imagine countries that are friends of India and also have the better interest of Pakistan in mind. Countries such as Saudi Arabia, which is a friend of India and has been an old patron of Pakistan. Countries such as the US, which still counts for a lot in Pakistan. I don't know what the Chinese will be saying. I don't think the Chinese want to get involved directly, to be honest, in a conflict with India. They are quite happy to see Pakistan do a bit, but not beyond a certain point. But more than other countries, I think good sense has to prevail within Pakistan itself. Because in the end, it's Pakistan's organic decision that what steps do you want to take and what will be the outcome of those steps for your own country? That is the question Pakistan has to ask itself. No other country can ask that question on behalf of Pakistan.
Right. Sushant, coming to you as well, how far do you think Pakistan is willing to go? It has shown that in the aftermath of in Operation Sindoor, it has attempted twice at least to target directly our military installations. They have not shied away from that. Denial is a separate issue. How far do you think they're willing to go?
Shivani, I think the question to be asked is how far is India willing to go? And quite honestly, I think things are de-escalating. We've decided, if I make sense of the press briefing today correctly, then I think it is very clear that we've said, okay, fine, they hit 36 places, 500 drones, and we attacked some 4 places and we hit one, and that's it. We haven't escalated beyond that. So I think this whole thing is winding down. That's my impression, and I'm afraid I don't agree with people who say that we should keep quiet, we should keep everything under our chest, hide it behind some kind of a cloak and dagger stuff. There is a psychological degradation of the enemy that you have to do. You do not have to give him any kind of a face saver. You have to rub his bloody nose in the dust. Uh, and if you're not going to be able to do it, then that fellow, given his DNA, given his mental makeup, given the kind of shamelessness he represents, and the kind of brazenness he exudes, uh, he is going to claim some kind of victory, and you have to deny him that. And my question is, have we done it? Uh, we keep talking about, we are a very professional military. We have shown a lot of restraint. Why have we shown restraint? Please tell me. If they are shelling my civilians in Poonch and in other parts of Jammu and Kashmir, what is stopping me from targeting their civilians and flattening them out? I enjoy the advantage of topography. I have my weapon systems in place. I have, in virtually 90% of the LOC, I have the advantage. Why am I not flattening them out? Why am I not making them scream in pain?
I don't
That's a
know.
question, a legitimate question to ask. For somebody to say to me, no, but we are Gandhian followers of Gandhi, so we cannot do this. We will only fight in a very chivalrous manner. I am all for chivalry, but I'm not for chivalry with barbarians.
Maybe. I'm just hazarding a guess. I'll allow our other guests to take on that question because, I am one of those people who tweeted yesterday that I don't understand Indian restraint sometimes. And maybe this is one of those situations. But Major Jolly, you want to weigh in on this? What are we waiting for?
Yeah, no, see, we are not waiting for. The thing is, there is a lot of data that we don't know. I mean, including you, Mr. Sareen, me, and everybody here, we depend on the government information to come. And maybe we have flattened out some areas. Maybe our artillery response has been tremendous. Maybe there's a reason they are backing off. Maybe we have downed all their drones. But there's also, no, that is just your
Where is the
opinion. We
sign,
don't
Major
know.
Jolly, where is the sign they are backing off? Please tell me, where is the sign that they are backing off? Last night, if our briefing is correct,
Okay. Yeah.
the spokespersons of the armed forces in the Foreign Office have told us that they attacked in 36 places from Leh to Sir Creek. They've attacked in 36 places and over 400 to 500 drones were fired, whatever the kind of drones were. How are they backing off?
Did you hear? I said maybe. I said
Yeah.
we all are speculating, right? We just a thought exercise right now. What I'm
But
trying to
I would
say is,
say that if somebody is firing 400 drones, then the word maybe becomes redundant, sir.
I know I agree with you, but there's let's say the basic difference between your and mine thinking would be I come from a hardcore intelligence background and never happy with information sharing. You are an analyst and a intellectual of this subject, so your thinking might differ from me, but that's all right. Another reason I would say we are not doing away with a lot of information is we are still in the operation. Ops Sindoor is still going on. Whether we are on defensive, whether we are on offensive, whether we have held our ground, whether we are attacking, it does not matter. We are in middle of it. Any bit of information that is given out, let's say we took down your drone so and so by so, a certain kind of drone is taken down only by a certain kind of technology. A certain response is given by only a certain kind of weapon. A certain aircraft is countered by certain jammers or certain radars and certain aircraft and missiles. Every time we put out something in public, it's an indication of our capability. And fine, let's take it for granted they know a lot. But why should we give out? It's just a way in which wars are fought. You should have an absolute control on information that you give. We are not, and at least till the time our operation is over. We are in the middle of operation.
Okay.
There is no sense of giving out data at this point.
Okay. That's a fair point. But Lieutenant General, yes, Sushant, yes, go ahead.
Look, I am not saying give operational data. I
Yes,
am not
yes.
saying give operational information. I am saying at least you say where all you have hit them.
Yes,
Which
I
are the
think I get
cities?
your point. I was coming exactly to that, that nobody wants operational details or capability details, but what is holding us back, either from acting back or from detailing that action? Is it that we still want to give Lieutenant General Pakistan the opportunity to cool down, an off-ramp as it is technically called? We are building pressure internationally, we are building pressure through the IMF, World Bank, etc. Or what is it that you think is going on?
Look, I take the word of Sushant, who's been a good friend from long years. The fact is, it's an issue of credibility of a country. If we do not target the way we need to target the adversary, whether it is in response or it is proactive, we will lose credibility, we will lose the issue of deterrence. We have to, finally, it is not about retribution alone. It's also a question of creating some strategic deterrence. So I know in the 30 years of firing that we have done on the line of control, we have extensive data and we would have been targeting places that you can't imagine. There are townships in Lipa Valley, townships on NH1 Alpha, larger villages. They do as much of tilling and agriculture along the line of control as we do. So to say that we are not targeting them, I think that will be impossible. You can't even hit a post on the opposite side without having some villages across not being hit. So, let's leave the villages alone. If they are hitting Punch and they're hitting Rajouri and they're hitting Bimber, be rest assured we must be doing similar. I have retired long ago, but we must be doing similar things. We have been doing similar things earlier when when the firing was on in 90s and 2000. So you rest assured that there is I won't say a quid pro quo, but there will be more forceful fire that we do, and we have done major work on this issue. So let's leave that the line of
Yes,
actual
but
control.
why are we not announcing it?
Absolutely.
I mean, if they are not announcing, see, you take my word for it, they are doing it. But if they are not announcing it, does it hurt you? I mean, I would say
No,
so.
I think that is centrally what Sushant is getting at, right? The mental degradation of the opponent.
Allow me.
Yeah.
There is a small township in the Neelam Valley. We are hitting that township. There are school buses go from there for people or across T2R. School buses, they line up in the morning to take children across there. Why should, if I'm hitting it, I don't know, but if I'm hitting it, why should I say that I'm hitting school buses? Yeah. Why do you want to know? I wouldn't like to say, yeah, we are doing this. We have earlier got larger number of their villages vacated when the firing was on our own self without nation coming to know.
Right.
But we did that now. It hurts them as much as they do it.
Okay. No, I think we meant more. Yes,
the
sir.
point I want to make is that if we are hitting the plains area, now you're talking about the area of the IB sector.
Yes, yes.
Now, the IB sector. Now, if you see the social media, if Karachi is hit, then there is Karachi's things are available on the social media. Now you can follow it. So you might as well say, yes, we hit Karachi, we hit Attock, we hit Gujranwala, we hit Sargoda. Many of these things are available, and we can say so that the following were targeted. I don't think we should hesitate in saying it. It will elevate the morale of our nation, saying that we did. When we first day announced that we hit Bahawalpur and we hit Muridke. Muridke is new for the nation. Muridke is a new name. Muridke is a name that we have been rattling out from last 30 years. Every day in and day out in all war games, Muridke used to come up. So, we've rest assured these names are not new to us, and the names are not the places. I mean, I'm sure they are being targeted. We can say so. We can say Muridke and Bahawalpur. We can also say we hit cantonments of Gujranwala, Sargoda, Sheikhupura, Raiwind. I mean, we can name all these ones if we are targeting it.
Okay,
so, I mean,
okay. I understand. Differing views, but I think everybody has the same end goal in mind. We're just breaking on our screens that the PSL, which was going on, which is going on in Pakistan, is expected to be shifted, or Pakistan wants to shift it. Yesterday, one of their stadiums actually got hit. Those visuals we certainly got, but that was the afternoon action. From last night, we don't really have much of what India has managed, but what we're getting to know now is that the UAE Cricket Board will likely not approve Pakistan Cricket Board's request to hold the PSL in UAE, because that was the venue that was being considered. And one source is telling us that security concerns could potentially emanating from the rising tension between India and Pakistan could be the reason why they don't want to do this. And this brings me to the second part of my discussion today. The Indian government has certainly come out and named Turkish drones. You've got other countries that are standing with Pakistan despite knowing what Pakistan is up to and what it generally does against India. Has time come for us now to also tell other countries, and Sushant, you can come in on this, that if you do business with Pakistan, you don't do business with us?
Shivani, I've been of that view for many, many years now. And I believe that, if India has some economic heft, then we must start learning to use how this economic heft has to be deployed in the, to penalize or take punitive action against enemy countries. There was a time, not very long back, I believe under the Modi government, if I'm not mistaken, where there was some flirtation with the idea of imposing sanctions on companies doing business, for example, in POK. And I remember at that point of time, there were a few South Koreans, including a couple of Japanese companies, which were bidding for some contracts in POK, who asked me, how will this play out? Will India actually follow through? And at that point of time, I thought that the government of India will actually operationalize this, but they didn't. But you can be rest assured that many of those companies would never venture into POK or even for that matter Pakistan if India was to have some kind of a coherent policy to close itself to business to these kind of companies. Because after all, what are they going to get from the Pakistani market? Indian market is far more lucrative, far more beneficial for them. And I think this is one particular leverage we can use. There are many others that we can explore, we can deploy. And I think, look, you have an inveterate enemy. You've had it for the last 80 years. Unless we have any kind of rose-tinted lenses from which we view this country, I think we should wake up to the fact that we cannot ever live in peace with these fellows, right? They are genetically... it's not possible. It's just not going to be possible. Okay. Now, you want to delude yourself? By all means. You want to go to Anarkali Bazaar for that 10 rupee damn thing which somebody gives to you free? Be my guest. You want to have a free rickshaw ride because some lowlife in Pakistan is saying, okay, you've come from India, you are my brother, I'll give you a free rickshaw ride, and you want to make your policy on that basis? Be my guest. But that's not going to get you peace with these fellows.
Okay.
You will only get peace with them if you hold the big danda over them. And that danda we have not forged as yet of the kind we need.
Let me take that economic question to Ashok Malik also, because some experts may say that all of this funding keeps going to Pakistan. It's too big a country or too dangerous a country to fail because of its nuclear capabilities. We know of some pressure that India is trying to build on the IMF, for example, to reconsider its loan to Pakistan. Do you think it's finally time that the international community should come on the same page on this?
See, there's two things here. One, I think Pakistan's utility to the West, to America, for instance, has declined. It has not fallen to absolute zero, but it has declined since the American troops withdrew from Afghanistan in, 2021, 22, 21 and 22, when they withdrew from Afghanistan. And you're seeing that in the American response to Pakistan this time. Yes, Pakistan is a very strategically important geography, connecting South Asia and Central Asia. Yes, it has nuclear weapons, which gives us a certain blackmailing capacity. But there is a limit to how far that can take you. And it's a country that has continuously placed itself in the hands of one superpower or the other, without caring for its own people and its own development.
Yes.
So, whatever assistance it gets, the question is, how does it use that assistance? Does it use it for its own people, or does it use it for its generals and their lifestyles? That's a question that Pakistan has never been able to answer honestly. And in terms of the economic impact the economic steps we can take to on Pakistan. Today the Indian economy is much larger. It has business and trade linkages with many major economies in the region, in the broader Asian region as well as in the West. It also has. It's also an important investment and business destination for big companies, big banks, and financial institutions. In times to come, I'm sure we can use this to in our own way, impose sanctions against not all of Pakistan, but against certain entities in Pakistan that are clearly linked to perhaps the army, because the army is a big business. It's almost a business house in Pakistan. It controls banks, factories. So we can impose sanctions on our own as India and attempt to get those companies and institutions that do business in India to in effect choose.
Yeah.
So there are steps we can take. There is the FATF that can be approached again. We approached it very effectively after 2008, after the Mumbai attacks. So there are economic steps we can take, and I'm sure the IMF meeting will also see a lot of argument.
Yes, absolutely. I've got only a minute left. I'll give 30 seconds each to Manik Jolly. Yes, Lieutenant General, you want to come in, sir? I have limited time, 30 seconds to you.
So, Steve Witkoff's son, Zachary Witkoff, was in Islamabad last week as heading of a corporation on crypto, and he signed an agreement with the Pakistanis, including met the Prime Minister, he met the Chief of the Army, and they signed a major deal. His corporation is also supported by President Trump, and this was signed with a great fanfare. Large number of MOUs. They will develop the entire crypto systemic for Pakistan over a period of time. This is a time when we are actually preparing ourselves for the way we went across this 27th or 28th of April. So the fact of the matter is that there are other deals being happening behind the back. While we may be doing many things, the United States is doing separate deals across with Pakistan.
Yeah.
I want to add a point here.
No, absolutely. It is a challenge, certainly, of how to isolate Pakistan economically. Major Jolly, we've seen some steps that India has taken which were never taken earlier. Like, for example, putting the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. And PM has been very categorical that this water is going to be used for us. Pakistan
Exactly.
be damned. So do you think finally, mentally, we are prepared to take more economic sanctions for those who deal with Pakistan also?
Yeah, most definitely. I would agree on Mr. Sareen and Mr. Malik, what he said. And the day when they started and IWT was, announced by the PM, that day I took a call that this is siege warfare. You're trying to bring a nation down. While everybody loves a little, that Royal Rumble cage in the match WWE type fight and armies fighting. But this is going to be a long drawn thing. You're trying to break down a nation. Suspending water was a brilliant move. Then, as everybody is suggesting and agreeing, economic sanctions should be is a great move. You should just clearly say either you choose us
or you
or
choose
them. And the
Absolutely.
economic might we have, we can actually pull it off. So go ahead and break them down from every possible corner.
I've run out of time on that note, but I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Time to go for the kill, and I don't mean literal kill, but certainly an economic kill, because that seems to be the goal that India has envisaged to break down Pakistan's capabilities. Time for me to take your leave. Thanks a lot for watching Plain Speak. My colleague Anand Narasimhan is joining you on the other side.
Go powered by
All right. I want to move on to another piece of breaking news that's just coming through. We're given to understand that a former Lashkar-e-Taiba operative and in aid of the Lashkar-e-Taiba founder Hafiz Saeed has exposed the outfit. He says that many youths motivated by Hafiz Saeed's speeches and then joined the Lashkar-e-Taiba subsequently traveled to Afghanistan as well as to Kashmir in India. Approximately 500 individuals from across the country traveled to Afghanistan to undergo training at a camp named Maskar Taiba that's located in Kunar province. He says Hafiz Saeed is also responsible for the deaths of thousands of Pakistanis by sending them in a war of ashes to achieve the state's political goals. This is something that Noor Dari, that's the name of the individual. He's a former Lashkar operative. Tejinder has more details on this. Tejinder, read the tea leaves for us. What does this necessarily mean?
See, Zaka, this Noor Dhari right now is the executive director for ITCT, which is an international think tank that exposes Islamist terrorists. He says that his mother wanted him to become a doctor, but he like thousands of Pakistanis were motivated by the speeches given by the LET founder Hafiz Saeed. He says that he was appointed as the aide of Hafiz Saeed. He used to guard him in the Murtazai camp where he was deputed, and he says that Hafiz Saeed was traveling in a blue Toyota Vigo pickup Datsun. So Hafiz Saeed is responsible as per Hafiz Saeed is responsible for the death of thousands of Pakistani youth whom they motivate through his lectures. They join his terror outfit. They are sent to Afghanistan. They are sent to Kashmir, and they become a cannon fodder for the so-called war which Hafiz Saeed and other terrorists are fighting. He says that there are millions of Pakistanis and who have been motivated by the speech of Hafiz Saeed, and they have joined the terror cult of LET. He says that he took a decision finally because he saw that this will get him nothing, so he left LET, and he was made fun by the other LET members, saying that he was coward, that is why he was leaving it, but he realized that Hafiz Saeed would lead them to nowhere. So finally he right now in UK settled there and is working with one of the international think tanks as an executive director. So this person has exposed Hafiz Saeed and how this terror factory is radicalizing the youth of Pakistan, the youth who could have taken a pen, who could have taken a stethoscope to become a doctor or an engineer, but Hafiz Saeed and his ilk is making these people the cannon fodder for their so-called jihad, training them in several terror training camps across Pakistan, in borders with Afghanistan, and then sending them to fight and get killed in Kashmir. He says that thousands of Pakistani youth who are trained by Hafiz Saeed are sent across into Jammu and Kashmir to fight this so-called war, and 90% of them never return. They get killed by the Indian Armed Forces. So clearly exposing Hafiz Saeed and his terror factory. Yes, Zaka.
Jinder, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. So that's a former operative of the Lashkar-e-Taiba exposing the founder and the chief architect of one of the most dreaded terror organizations, an organization that's wanted for numerous terror attacks here in India. His headquarters, of course, was bombed in Operation Sindoor a couple of days ago. Meanwhile, let's bring you up to speed with where things are as of right now. In the last 24 hours, Pakistan has made multiple attempts to breach India's air defense systems, but the good news is India's air defense has prevailed against Pakistani missiles and drones. The army has managed to neutralize the air defense system in Lahore after Pakistan attempted to engage a number of military targets in northern as well as western India. When Pakistan made failed attempts to send a swarm of drones across at least half a dozen, if not a dozen places along the line of control and the international border, over 40 to 50 drones, and this is what the Indian Army statement said earlier today, over 40 to 50 drones were successfully neutralized in a 3-4 hour period from about 8:30 in the evening yesterday all the way up to about midnight. The engagement involved extensive use of the L-70 guns, the Zu-23 Shilkas, and of course other advanced counter-UAS equipment, including of course the S-400s and the indigenously built Akash surface-to-air missiles. It also showed the Army's capability to counter these aerial threats. So what are these weapon systems, these air defense systems which were activated yesterday and managed to avert what could have been a big sort of barrage of attacks by the enemy on Indian soil? The L-70, it's developed by Bofors, it's produced under the license here in India. It's a 40mm gun, modernized with radars, electro-optical sensors, and also auto-tracking systems. It can fire anywhere between 250 to 300 rounds per minute. It's got a range of up to 4,000 meters, about 4 kilometers or so. The L-70 excels in anti-drone warfare, saturating the sky with predictive fire, making it effective against a swarm of drones and also trying to evade the tracking of these aerial systems. So that's the L-70. It's a short-range gun. Then you have the Shilka, which is a self-propelled system, self-propelled gun. It's got 4 23mm autocannons that are guided by radar detecting targets, and it can detect targets up to 20 kilometers away. So that's again a short-range weapon. It can unleash about 4,000 rounds per minute, and it's been upgraded with proximity fuse ammunition as well as advanced fire control systems to tackle drones that are becoming smaller and smaller. The Shilka's rapid fire and radar precision make it lethal for UAVs, helicopters, light armored vehicles. The Shilka's dense curtain of rounds offers a last resort protection for air bases, military convoys, sensitive installations, much of which are now currently under elevated levels of threat because of the ongoing.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and thank you for staying with us here at CNN News 18 as we are on our continuous rolling coverage. And here on the right stand, we continue to train the focus on Operation Sindoor, the post-Pahalgam massacre retribution exacted by Bharat, and Operation Sindoor continues because Pakistan has decided that Bharat's counter-terror strike will be retaliated or responded to by the Pakistan state and its military by targeting Bharatiya military installations. Now we are into the 9th of May, and this seems